gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome to the stage, Morgan McGee.
Hi, hello everyone. Hello, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a very special episode.
Yeah. It's kind of a follow-up on the previous video, not the 60-second bite, but the diet struggle. Time to reevaluate. And in that video, Morgan had mentioned that she needed to kind of reset. Yes. And I actually did just that. I was watching the video after it had been posted. I was like, I really need to do this. And so I embarked upon a journey, if you will, to reset and just have a little cleanse, a little detox. And I did that for 7 days and it went really well. And so we want to talk about that.
And I'm going to ask Morgan a few questions just to kind of beef it up, just to kind of, get in, get a little dirty, get a little juicy.
Yeah, get the background.
So Morgan, tell us a little bit about what inspired this journey.
Yeah, for sure. So as I said, I watched the video and I'm like, wow, I really do need to reevaluate. A friend commented like, oh, the donuts, the donuts are a struggle for me, as I mentioned in the previous video. So I wanted to really cleanse my palate. I, for years have been kind of on a journey, and I just said, okay, I need to reset. I need to cleanse my palate, go back to the basics, and then from there, give my body the things that it needs in order to live a more healthful life.
So what did that look like, though? I mean, I know you were saying you needed to cleanse your palate, but what did it feel like? What kind of made you decide, okay, let's stop for a second?
Right.
We talked about that in the last video, stopping and analyzing.
And
so
asking.
what brought you to that point?
Well, the donuts in conjunction with just a tired of lethargy, right? I'm a habitual nap taker. Every day when I get home from work, Anita can attest to it. She calls me and I'm like, "Hello, I'm napping. Can you call back?" This is a true story, right? So the napping, the caffeine in the morning. I needed to have coffee when I woke up in the morning, and just the combination of those things, and just not really feeling like I had the most energy. I'm like, this is not how life is supposed to be.
And can we just touch a little bit just on the mood and just, just a little bit, just because I feel like this is real for a lot of people.
For sure. So when you talk about the things that you're eating and your mood, there's a serious correlation, right? Because if you're eating simple foods that are refined, that are bleached, that are, highly processed, it affects your mood in many different ways. So it might be feelings of depression. There might be feelings of the lethargy that I mentioned earlier, different things that your body may be feeling, and it can be affecting your mood, anxiety, right? Stressful eating. We'll talk about that in another video. We talk about sleep, right? Your sleep and the food is there's a relationship between that.
A video to come.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because a lot of people have a hard time correlating directly maybe eating white refined bread with me feeling depressed. So do you feel like it's more so a stage process, I start eating a little bit of this, making it's okay, then having a little bit of coffee to kind of boost it up, and then it's just a cycle?
Yeah, and that's for me what it was. Yeah,
you end up in this place.
Right, and this is why I liked it. It was a 7-day cycle, 7 days signifying completion in my mind, and just needing to reset, right? To break that cycle of drinking coffee. During this cleanse or reset that I was on, I had full of energy. I didn't take any naps except for one day because I had rehearsal till 11 o'clock at night. But other than that, I was full of energy. I didn't feel tired. And this was just simply from eating a raw, plant-based, vegan diet.
So let's get into that. Tell us about the solid, hard evidence. What happened after you did the cleanse?
Yeah, so after I had the cleanse, I'm thinking, wow.
First of all, how long was the cleanse?
It was 7 days, only 7 days. And so it wasn't anything where that was a super extreme for 21, 30 days. And which for me, I said, okay, I can do 7 days. This is doable. There were no days of just 100% juicing, because for me, I likes to eat, right? There's a reason I became a dietitian. And this cleanse reminded me of that fact, right? So it really helps to just kind of reset. It was only 7 days, and it was simple enough to do. And I'll post pictures and you guys will be able to see some of the recipes. And if you all want to know, I use simple green smoothies. The program is called Thrive. And I really do feel like I was thriving in those 7 days, and even in the time here and now.
Yeah, I remember Morgan comments like, guess what? I'm like, what? I'm like, something crazy is about. She's like, I didn't take any naps.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for you. Good for you. So congratulations. No naps. So you actually didn't take any naps.
Well, the day I was
one
sick.
time, but out of 7
that
you would usually do, which I mean is huge for a lot,
it is
it's a huge lifestyle. And then you were saying, I mean, which means that you felt a lot of energy.
Right. And and I felt without any caffeine, without any other, added stimulants, I felt energized with just eating plant-based food that was fresh, that was delicious, and I was full of energy. So.
And I know, this may or may not have been the goal, but did you happen to lose any weight?
I did. I like you said, I wasn't trying to lose weight, but I did lose about 5 pounds within those 7 days. And for me, that was great because, like I said, it was a reset. Kind of stuck in this little area, stuck in this area, and it got me to where I wanted to be and on the right track to go where I need to go even further. So my next benchmark.
Yes. Good. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
I'd like to formally congratulate you.
Thanks.
So, I think where it goes wrong, though.
Okay.
I don't want to be like, like negative Nancy over here.
Yeah,
but for a lot of people, they're like, I'm gonna do this cleanse, I'm gonna clean it up, and then a lot of people end up going on these like 30-day things and like or like the 7-day things or whatever, really extreme.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, then after that, it's on. But what ends up happening, a lot of people after that go back to doing exactly what they were doing before.
Right.
And I've heard it takes just as long to wean off a challenge or a detox or whatever it is, as it takes just as long to wean off as it did for the whole challenge.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about, it's been about a week since you've done it.
It's been about 7 days.
So tell us about the after effects.
So I went to a wedding. I went home this past weekend. I'm from Alabama. I'm from the South, right? So there were some temptations in the food, and I did give in to some of them, right? Because it was like they had cake, like pound cakes, like 3 different types of pound cakes in this one event, right? So I did give in, but I think for me personally, because my background is so rooted, I'm not really the greatest source to give like the best advice in some of those areas, because I'm so rooted in the vegetarian vegan diet that for me just eating extremely unhealthy is not my reality every day, right?
So you're not faced with a lot of quote unquote unhealthy
foods, right? So I don't bring those types of foods into my house. So after,
well, that's a choice, though.
Right? It's a choice. Yeah. I mean, we did just have pizza, but with kale salad.
It's about balance.
Right, it's about balance. And so for me, it was just more about bringing some more of those recipes into what I do.
Okay.
Because I do get breakfast and lunch free at work. There are salads and opportunities there for me to also bring some more healthful food there. Before, I wasn't really eating a plant-based diet. I was eating chicken, which I want to get off of again, and eat more vegan, plant-based food. And so that's a takeaway that I've really gotten from that. It's just, okay, Morgan, you need to get back to that. It is possible, but it takes careful planning. And because I had the meal plan, it gave you all 7 days, beverages 3 times a day, different cleanses and tonics and things like that with your meals, your between meal snacks. And so it was a great plan. I said, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. And so for me, that was a take home, right? Maybe I need to have a meal plan where I'm able to look at the week's meal, decide what I need to buy, and then make any adjustments where necessary.
So an example, like you were saying, you're planning it out, essentially planning it out. But an example would be, since you do get breakfast and lunch at work, maybe something like have the entree, whatever the entree is at work, and then have the side something that you bring from home. Right.
Would
that kind of be an example?
Yeah, and then like we always have hot cereals for breakfast, so there's always oatmeal that's there. So maybe bring my own nuts. They have like a cranberry walnut mix, but maybe bring some more of my own nuts or almond butter and banana, strawberries to mix in with the oatmeal to make it a little more filling, because oatmeal is filling, but you're gonna need a substantial amount to be full for 3 or 4 hours.
So, okay, let's get into what actually happened during the cleanse. I know you touched a little bit about it, but tell us, what is raw, vegan, plant-based?
Yeah, so aside from that, it was also gluten-free, alcohol-free, caffeine-free, things like that. So what it entailed was 7 days. There was upon waking was what they call it, kind of beverage, which was a lemon type beverage, right, to get your system going. And then there was breakfast. Breakfast and lunch were smoothies, right? They were green smoothies, which were pretty good. And then in between the breakfast and lunch, there was usually a snack. That was something that was maybe an apple with almond butter on top, or maybe half of an avocado that had celery and almonds. And then once you went through breakfast and lunch, there was another kind of mid-afternoon snack in addition to another beverage in the evening, apple cider vinegar tonic, which unfortunately I didn't take like I should have. And I really wish I would have, because it would have helped with some of the bloating and gas and things like that from all of the cruciferous vegetables. And then for dinner was more substantial, salads, soups, cauliflower rice bowls, a lot of things with that. And so it was actually really filling, but my schedule's a little funny. So it made dinner a little challenging because, and so I stuck to the plan most of the time, but there was a few days in there where I had to be active in the evening till late in the evening. So I had to add a little more substantial food in there in addition to what they had.
So you made it work for your personal life.
Yeah. Because so it was a great reset, but at the same time, you know, they said, hey, take it easy. Maybe if you run 5 miles a day, only, you know, maybe don't run. But for me, it wasn't possible. So I just had to add in some food where I could so that I would be energized to do what I needed to do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I think you've touched a lot about what we've discussed in other videos, you know, kind of making it your own.
Yeah.
It sounds like it went very well.
It did. Very successful.
Yep. And it sounds like, you know, you were able to kind of adopt it into your life after as well.
For sure.
As you know, as well as you could.
Right.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's really good. I think we've kind of covered everything I wanted to cover. I had a list of questions here. But if you guys have any other questions you kind of want to ask Morgan or me as well, in regards to nutrition, or whether you're considering doing any type of, you know, cleanse.
Yeah, because there's a lot out there, you know, and there's some that are just by evidence or however you want to look at it are not helpful for you. Anything, in my opinion, that has you starving yourself, you should not be on for any length amount of time, because your body has reactions and it adjusts when we go into these states of starvation or whatever it may be. Even if it's for a wedding, whatever you're trying to do, like, you know, just make sure you consult a professional before you undergo any serious cleanses where you're starving yourself.
I know, for example, where I work, we have patients and clients that come in that do these like really low calorie, you know, diets. For like weeks
500
at a time.
calories type
500, 800 calories, and they're supervised by a nurse and a doctor.
Right.
So if if it's something that extreme, we really advise that you guys really take caution. Morgan's cleanse seemed like it was more realistic for the average person because it included a lot of variety. You know, you were still eating.
Yeah, I had my
still
protein.
Having a lot of food. You were still eating a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And honestly, some of the portions were so big. I'm like, do they expect me to eat all of this at once?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't. So it's definitely something that's doable for the average person and a great program to do. So I definitely recommend it.
And you know, a lot of the times people feel like they need to do these types of things.
Yeah.
And they need it in order to achieve X, Y, and Z. If this makes you feel nervous, or if you're not ready for it, or you know, if you feel like you might like fall off, or it just gives you that feeling of anxiety, then we really advise that you just kind of take a deep breath and just kind of do what it is that you know you're gonna succeed at.
Right.
100%. You know, a lot of people ask me all the time, what should I eat, or how much vegetables should I eat, or how much exercise should I do? And I'm like, as many as you're actually gonna do.
Right.
If you're
realistic goals.
Whatever it is that you're actually gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, so and trust me, it's all gonna work. It is all gonna work, and you're gonna see results, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So thank
that's
you.
All, yeah,
thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Morgan, for sharing. Thank you for going through that.
Yeah, for sure.
Tune in into our next video, guys. Once again, thank you.